Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of this dinosaur pattern. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, if you go to my channel, you can find it. I'll also have a dinosaur playlist specifically for this pattern you can go look at. For this part, we are going to sew close the body, add the neck and head. So let's go ahead and get started. Like we talked about in the first part, the most important thing is making sure everything's centered. So I'm not quite centered on this one. So what we're gonna do is go from the bottom, go straight up. I'm going to add one more crochet and then check how I feel. Sometimes it helps me if I fold it right on that, and I'm gonna leave it like this. So when I do it, my crochet should be at the very end and the next one should be on the other side. I think it's close enough. So now we're going to talk about how to sew the body closed and make the neck. So to make the neck, we're going to start by single crocheting 7. And when you start, mark that last stitch. That way we know where it's at. So the last stitch of the row we did on the body, mark that one. And then single crochet 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now this is where we're going to use what we marked, and we're going to count the one we marked and go back 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is right here. And so what we're going to do is turn it into a round. So we're going to find that 7th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to put our hook into it and single crochet in it, and it'll create this connection right here. Well, that works. So you see how this is now connected. I'm going to do that again one more time just in case you didn't get it, because it is kind of hard to show that part. So again, I crocheted 7, then I'm going to flip my work, and I'm going to count back 7 from where I'm starting where I marked. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go in that 7th one, and I'm going to grab the yarn, single crochet into it. Try to make this a nice one, and then I'm going to crochet 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that 6th one should be where your marker was. 6. So that's the start of the neck. Just going to pull on that a bit, and now I'm going to get a strand of yarn in the same color yarn, and I'm going to stuff the body most of the way and sew this closed. So like I said, I'm just stuffing this body most of the way right now. The last bit of stuffing I'm going to add is going to go under the neck, kind of. So now I'm going to sew this closed. So how I sew it, if you can see the stitches, I go in between them, and then I just go across and go in between those. And I just keep doing that over and over. confuse me. I hold this string because it's not tied yet. That way it doesn't undo when I pull. And then on these last 2 stitches, I go in the back of them, and I go under for the last 2, because I think it helps make that rounded shape. And I just pull, make sure it's nice and tight, and then the holes aren't too bad in the back. I've done better, but it's not the worst. And then this is nice and closed, so then what I'm going to do is just put this in and bring it back up to the other end of the string. Make sure it's closed nice and good up here by the neck. And then I'm going to tie these 2 pieces together, tuck them in, and cut the excess off. Then when I cut them off, I just pull on them a little, cut, and then it'll go right into it, and you don't have to worry about it. So there we go. The body is complete. This is when you can add some more stuffing into the bottom of the neck. You want to make sure to stuff the neck good as we go, because you want it to be stiff. If you want, you can also stick something in there to help hold the neck up if you're struggling with keeping it up and being able to hold the head. I see people use pipe cleaners. I've seen some people use hair rollers, like those bendy ones. So something like that. I've even seen people use like wooden dowel rods. I don't prefer that because I want kids to be able to squish these. So it's really up to you. This is what the body of the dinosaur looks like. It's just kind of this oval. I think it kind of looks like a foot of some big stuffed animal. But now we're going to move on to the neck. So when we close this to make the neck shape, we already did row 1. So we're going to do row 2 through 5 now, and those rows are just single crocheting 14. This is going to probably be the hardest part because you have this big body, and so you can't hold it quite as well, but we will get past that where we can hold on to the neck again. Okay, so that is my end of row 2. So I'm going to go off camera, finish rows 3 through 5, and then I'll meet back with you at row 6. Okay, so I finished my neck part, and now it is the head, which top of the neck, bottom of the head, kind of goes together. But make sure you are lined up in the middle if you want your head to face forward. Wherever your last stitch was is going to be the way that your head faces. So if I want my head to face, like here's the body with the legs. If I want my head to face you when it's standing this way, I want my middle stitch to be here, so I just add some single crochets. I want my head to face forward, so I'm going to leave it right where I ended. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. To start out, you're going to do 3 increases. So if you don't remember, an increase is just 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So you're going to do that 3 times. And after those, you're going to do 8 single crochets. Let me move over my laptop. It was in my way. So like I said, 8 single crochets. And then you're going to end with 3 increases. So now you can kind of start to tell where your face is going to be because it's getting flatter on that side. Once you have finished those increases, you will start row 7, and you're going to do an increase and 1 single crochet, and you're going to do that twice. And then you're going to single crochet 12. Once you've single crocheted 12, you're going to do an increase and 1 single crochet, and you're going to do that twice. For our next row, we're going to start by single crocheting 2, and then we're going to do an increase, and then we're going to do that again. So we'll single crochet 2, and then do an increase, and then you're going to single crochet 12. And then you're going to single crochet 2, increase, and single crochet 2, and do an increase. So I feel like I'm getting a little off-centered, so I'm just going to add 1 more single crochet to center me back up. And now I'm going to move on to row 9 of the neck and head. And for that row, you're going to increase and then do 3 single crochets. To start, you're going to do that again. So an increase and single crochet 3. And then you're going to single crochet 12. And then you are going to increase, single crochet 3, and then you're going to do that again. Okay, so this is what it should be looking like so far. Kind of a little weird, but that's okay. It will look normal eventually. I still feel off-centered, so this time I'm going to crochet 2 to get me, hang on. No, I think I'm good. So I'm actually going to stuff the neck because my neck is getting to a point where it's hard to tell if I'm centered or not. So I'm just going to add some stuffing to it so I can actually see what it'll look like when my neck is stuffed. There we go. Okay, now that it's stuffed, I'm pretty center, so good thing I did that. So if you're having a hard time telling, add some stuffing to your neck. I stuff my neck pretty stiff on here. That way it can stand up nice and tall. So now we're moving on to row 10. And you're going to start with 4 single crochets. And then after those 4 single crochets, you're going to do an increase. And then you're going to do that again. So you'll do 4 single crochets and another increase. Then you're going to single crochet 12. You're going to do 4 single crochets and an increase 2 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase. So now you can really see the bottom of the head starting to get its shape. Okay, so row 11, we're going to have our last set of increases. And so we're going to start with an increase, and then we're going to do 5 single crochets, and we're going to do that 2 times. So there's my first increase in 5 single crochets. Now I'm going to do it again. Increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to single crochet 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're going to do that pattern again of increase, single crochet 5, and we're going to do that twice. So increase, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase, and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that is the end of that row. And now we're going to do one row of 40 single crochets. That is going to be row 12. So for this one, I'm going to add a stitch marker so I don't lose my spot and I don't have to count. So there's my last one, and I'm going to single crochet 40. If you can hear my mom talking upstairs, I apologize. Sorry for the background noise. She's talking on the phone right now. It's a lot easier to film these videos when no one's home, but ones like this that take a long time, I don't always have all that time home alone to film. So we have to make do. And then I put my stitch marker in my last one, so I need to add one single crochet there. Okay, so to round this head off more, we're going to start decreasing, and for row 13, we're going to decrease, single crochet 5, and we're going to do that twice to start off. So once you've done that pattern twice, you're going to single crochet 12. I definitely went over 14. Okay, now I gotta count that to make sure. I lost track of what I was doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Add one more. 12. So after you single crochet 12, you're going to decrease and single crochet 5 2 more times. Now that you've finished row 13, we're going to just single crochet 36 for row 14. Using a new hook that I don't use very often, and I am slipping from my yarn a lot more than normal. So row 15, our next row, is the most like random, I would say. It doesn't really have a pattern like most of them do, so you'll want to make sure you're counting as you do it to make sure you do the right amount. So we're going to start with a decrease, and then after that decrease we are going to single crochet 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And after that we're going to do another decrease. Oh goodness, if I can get, there we go. And then we're going to single crochet 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do 2 decreases. So 1 decrease and another decrease, and then you're going to single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to do a decrease and single crochet 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're going to end with 1 more decrease. At the end of this row, since it is kind of random, you should make sure that you have 30 stitches, or of course you have the right number if the next stitch is the first stitch you did, so it would have to be a decrease for the very first one. So our next row is going to be fully one of these patterns that we've been doing, and you're going to single crochet 3 and decrease 1, and you're going to do that 6 times to get yourself all the way around. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, decrease, 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 and then there's 1 more left. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. So this is a good time to start stuffing the top of the neck and the head, because our next couple rows are just going to be making this hole smaller, which will make it harder to stuff. So I've got some stuffing that I can use, and I'm going to kind of press towards the neck first, and then once that's full, I'm just going to smush this into the head. Again, I like to stuff it pretty firm because over time kids will squish it and then it will get soft, and if you don't stuff it firm enough, it will flatten. So especially, you know, necks and things that will be bent, I'm sure, by children. So I like to keep especially this section as stiff as I can get it. So row 17, we are going to decrease and single crochet 2, and we're going to do that 6 times to make it all the way around the head. So decrease and single crochet 2. Decrease and single crochet 2. Decrease, single crochet 2.
decrease, single crochet 2, decrease, single crochet 2, decrease, single crochet 2. And that was 6 times. So we're back at the front of the head. It's facing pretty center, if you can't tell. Trying to show you guys. It's kind of hard to show you guys once it's getting bigger. But mine's facing pretty center because I made sure that I was always running in the middle. At this point, as you can see, I'm kind of going off center, but it doesn't matter because I'm just doing a pattern all the way around. So at this point, my goal is just to close the head. Yeah, if your head isn't facing center, the best thing to do is to undo what you've done, which I know it's not the most fun, and then to just restart on the head part and make sure your center going up. And like I said, if you want your head to face this way, you make sure your center over here going up. But yeah, we only have one more row to finish the head, and then we're going to sew closed. On this one, it is important that you are centered, so I'm going to add a couple stitches because we're going to kind of make it an oval again as we close so that it's not super rounded on the top, and I can close it sooner so that the head doesn't get too tall. So I'm going to add one or two single crochets to make sure I'm centered at this point. And so to start row 18, you're going to do a decrease. And then you're going to single crochet 3. Then you're going to do 3 decreases. And for these, just make sure that they're pretty, like your tension is pretty tight, or else you'll get gaps because we're doing, like there, I just pulled the yarn right off. But if you're not, you'll get gaps because we are doing so many decreases right next to each other. So after those 3 decreases, we're going to single crochet 3 again. And then we're going to do 2 decreases to finish off. So 1 and 2, and then you can do a slip stitch, chain 1, and then cut the string. Leave enough for sewing. I always probably leave a little too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. The top should look like this, and you should have 12 single crochets on the top. For sewing, first we want to stuff the head the rest of the way because it's not fully stuffed because we've added rows since we've stuffed it. So I just add a good amount in there. You can kind of use your stuffing to help shape things. So for the head, I push it towards the front and the back to make sure it kind of sticks out more that way. And then I'm going to sew. I have my needle. Like I said, you can use your crochet hook to help you sew. It's easier with a darning needle though. Okay, so now it's time to sew. So I'm going to go into the back and just the top loop of this next stitch, and I'm going to count 4 over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go into that. And then I'm going to go into the next one. I'm going to go in the back under the top loop. I'm just going to pull, and then I'm going to do it in the next one. And then in this last one. And now I can skip those ones, and I'm going to go into this one that hasn't been used yet. I'm going to go straight across into that one, and then I'm going to do that again. Come back to this side, go through the next open one, go straight across. Sorry, move myself up a little. Pull through. And then I'm going to do that looping thing where I go in that one and I just only go in that one, pull straight up. This just kind of keeps that round shape going up here, that kind of oval look. Just do whatever you can to make it. I always honestly sew it closed a little different every time. That's just kind of how it works, but as long as you still kind of have that oval shape on top, you are good to go. And then I'm just going to tie this over here, stick it in, and then cut the string off, just like I did on the body. And there is the whole body. Oops, sorry, hit my camera. There's the whole body, neck, and head of the dinosaur. So all we have left now is the tail and the feet. And then of course you have to add the eye. If you decided to do a safety eye, you should have already added it. If you're like me and you're embroidering it, we'll do that at the end.